Facebook friends with.
Happy birthday to you.
Wiki, 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 wiki. That's a Joe Sir scratch.
You know, it's crazy. It sounds like we're doing rounds because Bree is like a little bit of a delay in the Zoom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Neat. We didn't mean it, guys. Totally unintentional. 702, Dave Dell'Isola. I didn't hear you singing there, Dave. Didn't hear you singing.
You don't want me to hear me sing.
Yeah, no. Good morning, Dave Dell'Isola, Labor Director. Try and get him on every week. Dave, a friend of mine is on the program and was sent me a message yesterday asking when the next batch was going to be released. Can we just start there?
Sure. I can barely hear you, Chris. I can hear Sabrina very well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well. Welcome back, Sabrina. It's nice to see your lovely face.
Thank you.
But yes, we batched last Tuesday. And I'm happy to say it was about $18 million was totally batched. That was 9.2 in PUA, 8.9 million in FPOC, and 76,000 in Lost Wages Act. And out of that 18 million, 1.6 million goes to the federal tax to help pay for me. Keep going and get the island going. So yes, we batched. It should be hitting this weekend, Monday, Tuesday, depending on which bank you have and how quickly they get the wire transfers and they mail out the checks. But everything is going smooth on that. We reviewed it, so that'll be going out. I released last week a article on the employees, how to send an email to ajc.training@dol.guam.gov to get started as far as looking at what training will be available so you can get retrained or get recertified in man occupation. And hopefully, if you're in a job that's going to be closed for a while, like hospitality, that maybe you can, we'll pay for you to get retrained or get recertified in a new occupation. So take full advantage of free federal money to train you. And during this next couple months, you don't have to job search when we turn that on, probably sometime end of next month, but you can certainly have another job or another skill that would help you get into a better career path. So I think tomorrow or later today, I will do a press release for the employers. How do they go on Hire Guam and post all their job vacancies? I know some employers are starting to have challenges and are having, issues trying to get employees. Some are having good success. So know this, in the end of June-ish, or whenever we decide to go on turn on the work search, every single PUA claimant has to register on Hire Guam. And that's the best way for them to do their job search. So employers, now's the time to set up your profile, get your jobs posted so you know how to do it, because you're going to have thousands of potential employees flood that site and look for job potential vacancies there. So that Hire Guam will only be as good as the employers and the employees use it. It's a free employer recruiting software. So I encourage everyone to use it. You can use it on your mobile phone. You can do everything. It'll even ping you when you drive by a job that has matches you. It does all kinds of very robust, and it's not too difficult to learn. And the good thing is, if you're already familiar with the PUA system, it's the same system provider, so you're similar, as far as the interface. And so I am working on building up the Hire Guam on both employers and employee side, so that the next step will be the job search requirement. And that will require employees to continue to get PUA, they have to do job searches. And that would be the natural next progression in PUA for the next couple months before it expires. That was a mouthful.
Mm-hmm. I think what I got was that it's going to be mandatory that people that are on PUA have to register with Higher Guam. That's right.
And you know, and registering, you want to put together your resume. You know, it has a resume builder already built in it. So it's really, all you have to do is just get your information, your work history together, and then just fill it in. And it'll build your resume for you if you don't know how to do one already. And it's, like I said, now's the time to start playing with it, getting it up, learning it, so that when job searches, there's jobs in there now. So you don't really have to wait. I'm just trying to build it up and get it going so that when the job searches are required, you're familiar with it, you know what to do, and you can start very seamlessly without too much effort. You just reach over from that couch, get that phone, and start ticking away, and you can do your job searches from there. And then when you get a good ping, then you can get up, get dressed, put on your nice Zoris, and go in and do the interview. And you don't have to go calling and hitting the pavement, looking around. So it's a good, effective, and efficient way for you to find work. It's just I'm trying to get the employers to start filling it. I'm working. I called Christine Boleto at the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm trying to work with her. She's going to get the information out to her members. Talking to her about the challenges for employers. I meet with the governor and the lieutenant governor, and we discuss this. We're getting there. I'm going to turn it on, or I'd like to have the governor turn it on before it expires. So it will go on, because I think it's critical that we require them to go on and start filling their resume and looking for their jobs before PUA runs out, because that's when they're all of a sudden going to really start to look. And I like that step to be done. If I have to handhold them, I'll handhold them through. I just want to get this thing going and get it built up and robust and try to make it easy. So last week we did a little thing on the employees. This week, today and tomorrow, I'm going to release a press release for the employers. I'm putting up a step-by-step guide for the employers. So I'm trying to, like I said, take logical steps before I do this, and spending a lot of time working with our team at the American Job Center, getting them prepared, and trying to get all our service providers, for training. I've been meeting with them and trying to get them to, push up the training and put together a good catalog of different types of training. So I'm pushing it hard from my side. And I just want to make sure that the island knows, the American Job Center, Department of Labor, I don't have jobs. I don't give you jobs. I'm just the middleman between the employers and the employees. So come September, when you're looking for a job and you're angry because you can't find something, you don't look at me as my fault, because, I don't have jobs here, ready to give it to you. You're going to have to go out and do a little bit of it yourself. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. I'm trying to provide you training if that's what you need. That's free. But all these things are limited in size and money. So if you wait till September, October, you're going to hit me along with thousands of other people. It ain't going to work that easy.
When is the deadline or implementation of this mandatory job search requirement? When does that go into effect?
It's when the governor deems it.
I see.
It says, I think the executive order says, at the advice of the director of labor, the governor shall, decide when to do the job search. This is something that's not really going on nationwide. I know just like yesterday, the day before, President Biden just did a press release telling states to reevaluate the job search and as something that you might want to start looking at. So that's what we're doing. Before I require the job search, I'm trying to build up our higher Guam so that they have the resources. I remember Guam's a little different from the States because our main industry, tourism, isn't there yet. So a lot of these people, what are they going to look for if that's what they want to stay in? But the reality of it is you're not going to be able to wait 6 months or more for tourism to slowly build up. You're going to have to, the tap's going to run out, the assistance. And so either you're going to have something to hold you over, or you're going to, now's the time to go into a new career. And that's what I'm trying to build up. I'm trying to get our service providers. I'd rather been farther along, but it takes the classroom training, and you just can't open up the classrooms because of the COVID until just recently. And now they're all our service providers are trying to get together and schedule these training classes, and they're still limited in sizes as quickly as possible to take advantage of all these claimants that are going to need to be retrained. I know GCC just graduated a successful truck driving. That is a well-paying and very big demand job. We're going to need lots of truck drivers to move the cargo, to move the construction supplies, to move everything for the buildup for what's going on our island. And we're going to offer a lot more types of classes, from culinary to certified nursing to home care providers to IT to HVAC, construction, all our, Mariana's training providers, Guam Trades, UOG, GCC, just to name a few. So they're all getting prepared. I even trying to get some entrepreneurship type training. I have a service provider that is putting in to provide that for these millennials that have no fear to open up businesses. Well, let me teach you how to do it right so you don't fail within the next couple months.
Dave, while we're talking about this job search requirement, I ran into a manager of a local restaurant, and she was telling me that they really need people, but no one wants to work. So what's happening is the staff that is working is making all kinds of overtime, just picking up all the extra shifts. So, I mean, it's just another one of those little anecdotal pieces that we're throwing out there.
Yeah, I hear that, and if you don't mind, I'll say this one more time to all employers out there. If you call back your employees and they do not want to come back to work, then you email me or at refusal of work dol.guam.gov, and we'll disqualify you. So
have you had to do that?
We've done that very few. Most of the time, and I try to tell these employers, most of the time, if they're saying, they're giving you a lot of excuses to come back, and you tell them that I'm telling you, if you don't want to come back to work, I'm going to report you to to Guam, DOL, and they will disqualify you, and you will not be qualified moving forward. Most of that time, that shakes them up enough to come back to work.
So you've had to do it, like less than 10 times, Dave? More than 10?
What was that?
How many times have you had to kick
Less
people
than
off?
10 times.
Less than 10 times, okay.
Yes. And, believe it or not, some of it is not because of they reported us. you know, a lot of employers here are local people. I know them because I have friends that are like that, and they're saying, yeah, these guys don't want to come back to work, but I don't have the heart to report them because they got families. They're just trying to make some extra bucks, and we're very close to our employees, and so they work around them. So I say, well, okay, there's nothing I can do. All I can tell you is that if you offer a person to work a job and they don't want to take it, or you call your employees back and they don't want to take it, then that's refusing to work, and that you can get disqualified from PUA. And I will just keep letting the employers know that that's a very powerful tool, that if you warn your employees, they will most likely take that advice and come back, because there's only a couple months left of PUA, and they don't want to be laid off, because if they're laid off, they're also not qualified.
Is a
'Cause
part
they're
of
not
what's
laid off.
happening?
What's that?
Is a part of what's happening because some people are actually making more from PUA than they are from just their regular job.
This is happening nationwide. I mean, let's face it. You've been a year and almost a half of staying home and getting a check every week, and it's a nice check, $6.45 a week.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have used that to survive. So it has done what it's needed to do, and it's helped us. And I say us, the island. I mean, look at the economic activity out there. Look at the restaurants. Look at the stores that's happened recently. Now that people can go out, every time I have a check release, Ross gets cleaned out of shelves, TVs, cars, everything. People are using that money and going out and buying in the economy, and that's what it's meant to do in certain respects. Because I have a lot of business friends and car dealers saying, hey, your money is what's kept us going. And I just hope that 6 months from now the repossessions don't pick up because the money's gone. So it's used, and yes, some people have taken full advantage of it and used this money and gotten lazy and don't want to work. They want to just take this money, but there's a lot of people that needed it to survive, and for their kids, and for food, and the rent, and so I look at it. That's who I'm helping. Those others are just part of doing business, because we couldn't get the money out so fast if we're going to be so selective and try to justify, oh, you're taking advantage of the system. Oh, you got the kids and rent. I'm going to give it to you, but not you. It's just the way it is when you have to get money out to everyone. And so those people that take an advantage, hopefully they spend the money in the economy. Hopefully they use the small businesses and spend their monies there. And that way, everybody else that's working can benefit from that money too. So it's a trickle down. So I try to keep focus on that and not people taking advantage of the system, because it's going to be a tough road for them when September comes and they all of a sudden they have that atrophy from laying on the couch, and they got to get up and stretch and really figure out what to do. And you know what's going to happen. They're the ones that are going to make the biggest noise to you guys.
Yep.
How? Oh, and I'm trying to say, don't take the bait, please. I can't go out and on the radio enough and tell everybody, I'm doing the best I can to get you the money and to get you trained and to get you out there and look for work. That's the best I can do. And September, October, when the money stops and you're part of the thousands, and then you're crying because it's tough, I have sympathies. I'll do the best that I can, but I'm not set up for dealing with thousands and thousands of people. I'm not.
So then, Dave, going back to what you mentioned earlier about the job search requirement, that it's ultimately up to the governor to pull the trigger on when she will implement this and make it mandatory for PUA recipients to prove that they are searching for a job. But you also said that it was based on recommendations from you. So do you have kind of an idea?
Yeah, and also, believe it or not, USDOL also was, I just got notice from them in our talks that they're saying, hey, if you're going to turn on work search, please let us know before you do that. Because they're also looking at the climate and the situation. Believe it or not, they follow what's going on here very, very closely. I'm surprised when they quote me in some of the newspapers and from your show and what I say. So I have to be very careful what I say, and I don't say anything bad about them because they're listening. And,
well, now I'm nervous.
So yes, Chris, you gotta watch it. The feds are listening, and I think it would be right to turn on work search, in the beginning part of July. That gives them 2 months to get used to the higher Guam system. It gives another month for employers to come in and fill up higher Guam and get used to that. And, so that when September comes, they're already familiar with it and they're already using it. That's, and they have to do it because when I turn on job search or when the governor says it's required, every single PUA claimant in order to qualify for that week has to do job search. So they have to register themselves on my Higher Guam system because by PUA regs, you have to register yourself at the state employment office, and that's me, the AJC. And the easiest way to do job search is by your phone.
Right.
The system says you have to do 3 job searches a week to qualify for PUA for that week. And the easiest way is to, once you're posted your resume and you say what you want to do and all this stuff, the system provides you all the employers who match that profile. I mean, it really does all the work for you. And it says, here's all the list of companies that are in the field of work that you want. And then you just gotta click and submit your resume to each one of these employers, and the employers will get all these resumes, review it, and say, oh, I like this one. Click, and then you're connected, and then you start the interview process. It's as simple and it's not difficult. It's not real high techy. You can do it from a phone. It's just, a lot of people aren't used to using an employment software system instead of just filling out the paper, handing your resume around, knocking on the doors like I did when I was a kid. Things are changing.
It's all computer now.
Yep.
It's the computer. Dave, I was looking here on the web, and it's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 states have reinstituted their job search requirements for those who are on the PUA.
Yeah. So the climate is ripe now for the job search. I'm, like I said, we have tens of thousands of people unemployed, and our number one industry, tourism, is closed still. So I'm really, it wouldn't be quite right to let those tens of thousands, look for work when there's only hundreds of jobs. So I'm waiting for it to be a little bit more open. I'm waiting for our economy to open up a little bit more, but also I'm looking at trying to, like I said, get our higher Guam system more robust with employers so that when I require it, you're going to have tens of thousands of employees going on that system and registering themselves and putting in their profiles and resumes. So I'm hoping that that's, will all work up seamlessly. So there's a method: build up higher Guam, then require the job search. And then the last 2 months of PUA, everybody has to do it so that they will be familiar with it, so that when PUA expires in September, they're already familiar with Higher Guam. Our system training providers will be up and running well, and everything. So there is a method to my madness. I'm just trying to get those pieces going as quickly as possible because the P-Core release happened later than I hoped it would have, and so I'm trying to stand this all up as quickly as possible.
Right. Dave, I wanted to ask you about the legislature's spending priority list. They set aside, or they're hoping to provide DOL with $3 million, and that again is to provide services to unemployed, to mitigate unemployment fraud, planning and development of a local unemployment program, and a study of the workmen's compensation program and expansion of GDOL services. Right. So they've pegged you at $3 million. Is that enough, or is there?
That's a lot of things to do. I mean,
yeah.
If I had my way, I would just take that $3 million and use that for job training, because I only have a couple million for job training, and as time goes on, the service providers, I'm hoping, will open more robust and more frequent training, and the dollars that I have now are only for claimants, basically people who have been laid off because of COVID. The same people who are qualified for PUA qualify for this dollars. So people who are just basically unemployed and need help, I have very small or limited to no dollars for them. I would like to use that money for those people to get into new occupations, because the federal dollars are very strict on the way I can spend them. Where if you give me local dollars and open it up to a broader range, then I could use those dollars to train those who are long-term unemployed, new in the workforce, or unemployed not because of COVID. There's always some that fall in the cracks that, they had a job just before COVID hit or something, or they got fired just before it hit and they were just starting to go out and hit the pavement, and bam, everything closed. So that's what I like to do. But getting an unemployment program is a massive undertaking.
Right. That's why we need to undertake it already, because we keep saying it's a massive undertaking, right? But we haven't undertaken. Everyone keeps saying it's a massive undertaking that we haven't begun undertaking yet. I feel like we just let's get the rubber on the road, guys.
I've already started to put out the feelers.
Right,
I already started doing the work. There's only so much of me.
Yeah,
I'm trying to keep the PUA going, and they keep ending it and starting it and ending it and starting it and changing it, and there's just no room for me to not have the money keep flowing. And you have no idea the system headaches of starting and stopping and changing something after it expires and getting it kickstarted again. And then I'm starting up the job searches and the Higher Guam and the training, and my plate is really full. I can't breathe.
I think you need another plate.
I need vacation.
Dave's plate is like the fiesta. You guys go to the fiesta and you got that one uncle who's like food is piled up to this high, holding the Diet Pepsi.
The unemployment is my Balutan plate. It's full. I'm going to take that home when I'm done with the PUA and the training,
right,
and I'm going to eat that up. So I'll get to that. Don't worry. It's important. I already put that and stashed it in my car.
There you go.
There you go.
So I'm already kind of doing the initial groundwork, because this is a huge undertaking, and there's a lot that's already been done. We're not reinventing the wheel. So we just need to look at what's working in those states and in the Virgin Islands and what's not working. And I feel we should, get a consultant hired to look at what Guam is and see how an unemployment program will work on Guam. Because Guam, it's going to be tough to maybe make it work. I don't know enough to say it for sure, but we have such a small employee base, small to sustain a program like this. In the States, they got millions and millions of employees paying, or employers paying into a system.
Yeah.
We have such a small community, very small. It's like an insurance company. When you have such a very, very small base paying into an insurance policy, it's very hard to insure everybody. Insurance companies work by having a large base of people paying in and then only a small base of people taking out. And so we have to figure out a way to sustain it and to pay for it and to pay for a division at labor to oversee it. And the more I learn on it, the more complicated it is. And a lot of states are having a lot of problems with their unemployment. And so it can be done. It just has to be done smart. And I am looking into it. And, as I get, every time, I just take a deep breath and go under and start working on it. Then I have to stop and go back up for air and take care of the PUA and training. But it is, I am putting feelers. The same system provider that I have now doing PUA and the Highland Guam also provides an unemployment program for a half a dozen states. And so that helps. I reached out to them and asking for some consultants or some experts. And, it's a little too early to start talking to them, but I'm starting to, put out feelers. And so I'll get to it. And it's going to be, and I'll get it done. And, I think the first thing we need to do is basically do a study on Guam and unemployment and see how feasible it is and how to design it so that it will work.
Dave.
So
go ahead, Bring.
No, I was just going to follow up because the governor, we're still waiting for her spending plan for the ARP. All we know is what the legislature had put down was the $3 million, but all the directors were tasked to submit their wish list. And so, how much did you ask for?
The wish list that we asked for wasn't so much, like designing an unemployment system or anything like that. It was mostly for secession training. We have some critical positions that are people that are going to be retiring. And if you kind of know with the GovGuam system, there's no system in place for secession where you can hire somebody junior and have the person train them so that when they retire, they can kind of step in and take over. Usually you have to wait for that retirement to go out and that slot to open to hire. So anybody in business knows that that's not the way to run a good department. So I asked for a couple positions. One, for instance, is our chief economist, Gary Hiles, who's got over 30 years in. I want to hire some junior economists to come in and so that he can train them on what to do. And, I have plans for him maybe to be a chief economist for the government because he's only one in the whole government, basically. And I already use him. I farm him out to everybody that needs a chief economist. So it's better to have him oversee all of the government and maybe keep him in for a few more years. And I train the next generation of economists. That's one example of what I plan to do. I wasn't too crazy about, I didn't go crazy in asking for a lot of money because I know there's a lot of other agencies that need it. And so we just asked for a little bit, not too crazy.
Dave,
so we'll see if we get it.
Thank you for your time. And I know that you're heading
Thanks,
off.
Dave.
We wanted to just offer our condolences to you on behalf of the staff here at the Link and the KUAM family.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be leaving next week to bury my dad. He passed away during this COVID, and we're gonna have a nice ceremony for him at Arlington Cemetery. So we're gonna honor him there. And thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course, Dave. Well, have a safe trip.
Condolences.
Thank you.
We'll see. Dave Dell'Isola, Labor Director, 7:38. Just a really quick break, and Dr. Felix Cabrera, the Chief